All right. Everybody beverage up. Our levels are looking good. Give me just a check 1, 2. Russell?
Check 1, 2.
Robbie?
Check 1, 2. Check.
All right. Roger that.
We don't have to do the Peter Piper thing anymore. Remember that?
That was a long time ago. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. These guys.
Oh, I can't even do it.
I actually had to, when we first started podcasting, I had to, because these guys weren't comfortable on mics yet, nor was I technically, but I was more comfortable with them. And I used to have a thing they had to read because they'd be like, they wouldn't give me good checks. They could check 1, 2, testing.
Yeah.
No, you need to talk like you're going to talk. So I'd make them read.
I don't know how many times I heard in those podcasts, move your mouth up to the mic.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Everybody's pretty much got it now. Now they're confident. So they're like, I'm just going to talk into this damn thing and let the world know. But at first, getting new people in here, it's that tends to happen. So, all right, let's do this thing.
Roll on highway.
Holy shit.
Roll on along, Daddy.
What do you think of that, Russell?
Oh, man, that's an old one there. I haven't heard that in ages.
You know we're going to bust your balls on this podcast, too. Do you listen to this while you're going down the road?
Hell no.
Every morning. It's kind of
yeah, that's my wake-up music,
Right.
my alarm.
kind of like us listening to Bad Boys. You're like, turn that damn song off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were a good band for country music back in the day.
Hell yeah.
They were.
You know what? With that playing in the background, I think we should just talk about Bike Bright. Robbie, what do you think about that? Bike Bright spray, motorcycle cleaner and degreaser. It's a motorcycle wet wash. Robbie, what do you think about that?
It's excellent. Absolutely the best wash motorcycle cleaner on the market.
He is the man. Bike Bright, guys, tried and tested by the Law Abiding Biker crew and is our number one go-to wet wash motorcycle cleaner. Hell, you could clean your truck with it, Russell.
There you go.
It's that good. It's super foaming triple action formula. Gets in all the cracks and crevices, Robbie. You know how we like the cracks and crevices.
We do. And you know how we don't like dirty cracks and crevices.
That is a negative and well said. That's right, guys. You can spend more time out riding. It's super easy, guys. Check out our whole line of Bike Bright products for your specific motorcycle cleaning and detailing needs. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. That's right. Big Daddy Kane has it in stock, ready to ship direct to you right freaking now. Oh,
but you know what?
Oh, yeah, what?
You can't ride without the slide.
Oh, that's right, guys. So don't forget while you're over there to pick up a bottle of Bug Slide waterless motorcycle cleaner. That's right. For maintaining your bike in between those wet washes with that Bike Bright.
I love Bug Slide.
Great for trips.
And
Great for
yes, we got you Bug Slide, Robbie. We hooked you up.
We haven't ridden all summer, but yeah, I got some.
We're going to send Russell. Yeah, right. Yeah, Robbie's a little late up, but we're going to get you a bottle too.
Awesome.
Big Daddy Kane. He will hook you up. I say, with that said, you appreciate that song, Russell? At all? Or you just want to punch me? It's your call, bro.
You really caught me there. I didn't expect that.
All right, guys, let's do this thing, huh?
Yeah.
And now, straight from the Law Abiding Biker Media Studio,
out of sunny Yakima, Washington,
we bring you another episode of the
#1 listen to motorcycle podcast.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Feel it. Ready?
Oh.
Ready? Here we go. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the
99%.
Russell. Russell.
Wow, dude. I give him a chance.
I didn't prepare him for that, though. That was totally, that was my bad. That was my bad. That was my bad. Hey, the thing is, these guys do it all the time, and they still screw it up. They'll come in and do this.
I was going to say, I'm not the only one.
No, you're not. That's right, guys. By listening to this very podcast, you are part of what we call the biker revolution. That's right, whether you like it or not. We just have one simple question for you. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics? Mount up. Let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it, guys. That's right. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast, and your
high-tech redneck.
That is, you all know it.
But you might have some competition today.
That is Ravi over there. Glad to have him. Yeah, you might have some competition, huh? Yeah, and you guys all heard the opening song. We're very, very happy to have the second patron in the history of Law Abiding Biker Media right here on the Law Abiding Biker sofa. Russell Roberts,
It's
welcome.
great to be here. Thank you.
You look good over there, man.
Thanks, man.
Look
It's
like-
awesome to be in this place.
Yeah. Heard it so many times.
Heard
over
it
the
so many
years.
times, seen the videos where you guys were live, and wow,
Yes.
here I am.
It's great. So we're going to dig in with, of course, Robbie is laid up. We mentioned in a past podcast with an ACL tear, so he hasn't been able to ride, but he made it and hobbled up here to the studio. Robbie, what else do you have to say?
Not much. I'm glad to be in here. I heard all the bikes fire up and went home and cried a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I bet,
came
dude.
back.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I do feel bad because I know I was laid up for 6 months several years ago, and
Last day I rode my bike was to work on June 7th, and I didn't ride it home.
That sucks.
dang, dude, that is harsh.
That's right. You couldn't get it home.
Nope. Old Chum Bucket rode it home for me.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of patrons in the studio, we like to thank our patrons. We appreciate them so much. We try to hook them up. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. We're going to talk about a ride that Russell made it on a ride with us. We had a spare bike that we loaned him. We don't always have a spare bike, but we did this time, and it
That
worked
was
out
great,
perfect.
too. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a bunch of other things with Russell and what he's up to. And he's been a long time patron. And you never know where the law-abiding biker crew is going to be next. So get hooked up. That's right. Because we always try to hook up with our patrons, whether it's our summer trips. And next year, Robbie, straight up, where are we going?
Well, actually, I was in some deep discussion on that today with somebody, and it sounds like
Really?
Yeah. Somebody that's not in the club or rides with us at all asked about a trip I went on to Canada 4 years ago with Popeye, and I was giving him some information, and I said, "Funny thing, we're going next year, probably be at the end of June." And the guy says, "That's exactly the same time I'm thinking about going." But I know we have a lot of patrons up in the Calgary area, and we will have a day for you up either in Banff or Calgary.
Oh, yeah, dude, that excites me.
Yeah.
You know?
I
'Cause-
might even get up there.
Oh, that would be sweet, man. We'll keep in touch on the details. But yes, we have so many patrons and supporters of the show up, our northern friends up in Canada area. And I know they've been wanting us to come up. And I know that I've been up there for other reasons. And the hospitality up there is amazing.
The scenery. But hey, you northern folks, reach out to me. If you're in BC or Alberta, I need some good ideas. I've got a pretty good route that I've been on, but I'm sure I'm missing something that's just out of this world. So reach out to me on the closed patron Facebook page, please.
Yes. Yep. Direct message, DM. If all else fails, just email lawabidingbiker or admin at lawabidingbiker.com, and we'll forward it to Robbie, and then you guys can hook up direct.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah, so that we're announcing that, and we've announced it briefly in a past episode, but we will be heading there, and I'm super excited. The details of that will come. Of course, it's not till next 2017, so
It'll
we've
be
got
the
time.
End of June somewhere.
Oh, it will. Okay.
Last few weeks of June, probably.
So get ready.
I'm ready now.
Ready. Oh, I'm ready right now. We got some planning to do. So speaking of those patrons, we just want to thank a few of these. Russell, since you're in the studio, would you like to thank these patrons right here for signing up?
We got William Barch of Hazel Green, Wisconsin. We got James Miller of Indian Valley, Idaho. He's a top tier.
Oh, that is right, top tier. He gets access to those premium videos for free, our for purchase videos. That's right, guy. They took action, and we appreciate it so very much. As you can see, a patron in the studio here, lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patron. Take action, guys. You right there mowing your lawn right now, listening. You walking the dog. Just do it. Grab your smartphone.
Driving
Get signed
that
up,
truck
guys.
down the road.
Put a little fuel in the Law-Abiding Biker gas tank so we can keep this thing heading on down the road. That's right, you driving your truck. And we played the 18-wheeler song up front there and busting old Russell's balls. Now, we have a lot of patrons that are truckers. We really do.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big community. You know some of them now
Corey,
from the... Corey Williams, right? Yeah, there's a bunch that I could name. And so you see it in the private Facebook groups because you're in the private Facebook group, which is growing exponentially. And the amount of conversations that are going on in there, I've said it in the past, I just literally can't keep up. I try to be in there and moderate as much as I can, but you patrons are pretty much running that group now.
We're all interacting.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Taking care of each other. Bikers helping bikers.
There's always somebody who's got an answer to everything.
Tell me this. Now, I'm going to ask Russell a lot of questions. So I don't know where this episode's going.
Okay.
But shit just comes to my head like that, Russell. So tell me this and be open and honest. Do you think most the patrons and because we're growing. So when I started that patron group, the private patron Facebook group only, forum, I like to call it, I didn't know where that was going to go. I didn't know where the patron thing was going to go. Now, back in the day, I used to be pretty much, I could 100% comment on every person's things because I like to do that. I really like to get to know people. As Lab is growing and that group's growing and everything's growing in the YouTube channel, obviously I'm really split for time more than ever.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that the patrons and most of them understand that? Because I do. It's me personally. I do. I feel bad that I
see
can't.
where you're going. No.
I can't comment on everything, and I know I miss a lot of stuff. I'm in there as much as I can, and Matt's in there, and the guys.
Yeah.
But I feel bad. I do. I feel bad.
Don't feel bad because we all know what is involved in doing this. Plus, your other regular full-time job. And we all have full-time jobs, and we all understand if we were to try and take on this kind of an operation, this kind of a task, there's no way I'd have time. So I think everybody understands that. Don't feel
that's my problem.
Negative or don't feel bad about it because you're in there off and on at times, and we see you. Yeah. So it's not like you just disappeared. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
And then everybody that jumps in and answers all these, there's a lot of technical things people ask, and then there's also a lot of great stuff, people showing off their bikes, or we talk about music at times,
yes.
even, and then so everybody that has questions about their bike, that's getting answered.
Okay.
I don't know if anything.
I know Justin pops in there and Robbie pops in there, and
I don't really have that much.
Rick's in there a lot of times. Rick's in there. Rick Kane, Big Daddy. But Yannick.
Yes, Yannick up north.
Wealth of knowledge.
He is smart.
Yeah. And all these other guys, I mean, I see, all kinds of resolutions to their problems.
Right. It is.
It's an awesome source.
Yes. If you guys get a chance to sign up, we get in there. And like I said, I appreciate hearing that because that's my problem that I'm learning over time is I don't want to be non-accessible, but there's a line where I can only do, and it's getting so busy.
Don't feel bad.
So I do.
We understand that.
I have to get over that.
No,
I'll be in there, but I definitely have learned that over the last 5 months that there's no possible way that I can comment on everything. And
no,
but
and we understand. We know.
Thank you.
No, don't worry.
Thank you. You know what I was thinking, too, maybe, and I like talking to patrons about it too. Maybe, I was thinking I'm always thinking of new ways to take it and make it better. And I was thinking maybe making other people moderators in that group, like people, you want to be a moderator. I was thinking of Yannick too, because he's so, I don't know, that how much that makes a difference because they can answer questions anyways. They're doing it, but at least it gives them kind of moderate.
I don't know if there's any need, but
yeah, I don't either. I was thinking about it.
What would be the benefit?
I don't know.
Other than they could delete someone that says something stupid, but and
we don't have anybody in there.
We've never had that problem.
No,
exactly.
And that's the great thing because it's a sign-up group. Technically, you're paying to be in that group, and so you don't.
We're all wanting to be there. We're not wanting to bash anybody. This is not one of those internet forums.
Right.
So it's a private group, and only the people that are the tier patrons,
the mid-tier people, patrons, right?
And then a few of the other lab guys are in there. That's it. So we don't have that problem.
So you're right. I don't know that a moderator would help at all because
we're running along really good in there.
Right.
So
yeah,
don't worry.
We'll see where it goes, but it is, and we're getting more patrons. You just thanked a few, and so that's good. That's good. Well, let's just do this. Robbie, do you have anything to say?
No.
That's it. You're going to get involved now. We're going to do another episode after this. We're batch recording while I have Russell in here because he's a wealth of knowledge on. He's a techie like me.
Yeah.
He's the first guy in the studio.
I got to say something.
Okay, all right. He's going to bust your balls.
Yeah. So we come up the stairs. He walks around to Ryan's seat and he says, and I don't even know what the hell he said. Oh, that's a P whatever in the hell. The mic. Something, yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck?
A Heil PR40, baby.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here going, that's what I talk into. I don't know anything else about it.
Dude. Yeah. And he's a Mac guy like me. And so it's nice to have a techie come up here and go, starts calling out my mics. He knows the headphones we're using, knows the mics we're using, knows the computers I'm using.
I know your soundboard.
Yeah, you know my soundboard too.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys switch seats?
Dude, I'm just going to put Russell up here. No doubt, dude.
You can have a feeling of what it's like to be on this side, Ryan. We'll put him over there.
That would be fun.
Oh, no.
High-tech redneck part two here.
Russell's like, no.
No, man. That's all right.
Got to wet my whistle there. So yeah, it was good. Me and Russell, we only have limited time now. Russell Roberts, patron guys, we met him. We have some history with him because when we went down to Sturgis in 2015, we had the big patron meetup at the private residence we were at. Well, lo and behold, Russell Roberts was in Sturgis, and he was able to spend that evening with us.
Oh, that was a great time.
We had a ball and great barbecue, and I had to ship down some gifts and stuff. So that's where I really, and you rode with us that day.
Yeah, the next day.
The next day, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
We went on a day ride. And so this is I haven't seen Russell since, of course. We are active online,
right?
But it's always nice. I love online is great, but then we've always said here to
it's
meet.
Great seeing you guys in person again,
and to sit in the studio with the very sofa you help provide by your patron donations.
The sofa, yeah.
How is it?
It's good.
Now,
it's good.
It's not the best sofa, I know.
No,
but it's a great podcasting. It's IKEA. I still am very
frugal. It's
comfortable,
and
you can't complain when you got fat fucks breaking the old one.
I know, dude. Yeah, you didn't get to sit on the old sofa, Russell.
No, I didn't.
You wouldn't have got out of it. It's hard.
Man.
It was like bucket seats, like
dropped down to the floor almost.
I put screws in it because Oscar sat on it one day and it just went snap, boom, and his legs were all up in the air and he left, and I put big screws to the frame to try to it was ridiculous. So that's
this is good.
One of the many things. So you know my soundboard, huh? See, we're gonna get off track.
It's a Mackie, right?
Yeah, it's a Mackie.
Yeah.
Attaboy. Look at
So wake me up when you guys are done.
Rob shaking his head. See, I love it when people are like, there are other people that know about this stuff, because it's definitely not you guys hanging around here most of the time. You're like, yeah, which end of this thing do I speak in? So yeah, that's where we first met Russell. Now, why don't you introduce yourself? Because I've talked a little bit about it, what you do, how you ended up here, and then we'll go from there, Russell.
Hey, I'm just a truck driver, an owner-operator.
Professional truck driver,
thank you. Been doing that since 88 and been an owner-operator since 98. Married with 3 daughters. Just working my butt off all my life, really.
Can I play this in the background, Larry?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good old song. Rob, can you name this band?
Isn't this Alabama?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I used to listen to stuff.
This song's probably older than I am, but
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I don't think so, but it's close.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I listened to this when I was a little kid, and I wanted nothing more than to drive an 18-wheeler.
You really did?
I did. I'm not kidding. I got to drive smaller trucks. Folks owned an apple farm, and so growing up as a teenager and stuff, before they had all this CDL stuff, we were farm exempt. That's all I'm saying. I think we were farm exempt.
You guys could do anything almost.
We did, and I was driving trucks and old trucks. Yeah.
When I was about 18, I was driving a 5-speed with a split rear end.
Nice,
split rear, yeah.
Yeah, and
I drove one of those.
And a little pup trailer on the back, and it was a 2.5-ton flatbed full of hops.
You were farm exempt too?
Oh, yeah. No trailer brakes, boy, I'll tell you what.
Oh, that was some right.
It was different back then.
Yeah.
You could do a lot of that stuff.
I had the chauffeur's license before CDLs came around. And then CDLs came around and everything's changed. Everything changes. Everything always changes. So that's pretty much what I've been doing all my life, working career for the most part. And then what got me into motorcycles again was a buddy of mine. We went to elementary school, and we didn't go to high school together. We ended up, our family moved, but we got reacquainted when we were teenagers, and we've been buddies ever since. He got a Honda Valkyrie, one of those, I don't know how you describe it. It's kind of like a Road King.
Yeah.
But
What's
it's
it
the
called?
Honda Valkyrie.
Let's look it up. See
Honda
how
Valkyrie. It's like a 99. It's
is that VALCORY?
VALK.
K.
Yeah, it's got a K in it. I know that. That's about all I know.
KYRIE, I think. Anyway,
sure.
It's an opposing 6 engine, and he kind of got me to thinking.
Is that look
3 years?
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Can you look up there? Is that how you spell it? VALKO?
Okay, my eyesight ain't that good.
Go back up.
VAL.
Put the K.
K.
Okay, right under there, you'll see it.
Oh.
See it? Honda Valkyrie.
There we go. Sorry, I was way off.
Yeah, just hit images.
We're pulling
there
up images.
Those are the newer ones.
Okay.
Look for the older.
Go to that fourth one over, the red and white one.
Yeah.
Right there.
Okay. All right. Sweet.
That's it. His is all
It's a good looking
black.
bike, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Road King there.
Yeah, yeah.
And man, I'd sit in his garage talking with him, and I was like, man, I want to get a bike. I just want to get a bike, and I wasn't sure what to get.
You never rode a bike when you were younger, though?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay,
Dirt
yeah,
bikes.
right. So you had it in your blood.
Back in the 70s,
Right.
Yeah, we rode Kawasaki 100s.
Back in the
I can't
50s?
remember. Wait a minute.
Sorry.
I'm not that old.
Rob was going to do it if I didn't.
Oh, shit, you guys. No,
One for me. One
I'm
for
not
me.
that much older than you. I'm 53. So I graduated high school in 81.
Young man.
So I rode dirt bikes back in the 70s. But no, I never rode too many street bikes. So everybody's got bikes now, you know? And so I was thinking I need to get a bike because everybody I know is starting to get bikes. So I was thinking about different kinds of bikes, but I ended up narrowing it down to a new Harley. So I got the Road King.
But weren't you, let me back up a little bit because that's what I do. I love interrupting people.
Yeah, that's fine.
You had talked at lunch, and we'll talk about our extravaganza today. You had talked about at lunch that you were thinking dual sport, though, before you even looked at Harley.
I was.
Okay.
I was thinking about a BMW GS series. Because I was thinking
Good
about
bikes. Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm into photography
Yes.
and heavy into it. And I was thinking about getting to places where you can't get with cars. For landscape.
For photography, right.
Yeah, as the hobby side of it.
Yes, yes.
Because I love to just I used to backpack a lot, and I used to like just get away. Well, I was thinking, man, I could get even farther away
Oh, yeah.
on one of those dual sports. Well, after I started looking at pricing, I was like, well, really, do I want to ride knobbies down the highway that far, you know?
Yes.
Before I get off road and stuff. Now, I decided, no, I think I just want to get a street bike, a touring bike of some kind. But I didn't know what was out there. I had no clue. I was not in that world. So then I started looking at Harleys and Honda Gold Wings and different things, the Victories, Indians. But I narrowed it down. My brother-in-law had a 2003 anniversary 1200. What is that? 1200.
Must be. Is it Harley?
XL. Yeah, it's a Harley.
It's a.
It's the black and silver
What's the,
anniversary.
Sportster.
Yeah, Sportster.
Okay, yeah,
that's
right,
what he
right.
had. And I was looking at that, and I was like, yeah, I think I asked him questions about why did he get a Harley. He said, well, they hold their value is one of the main reasons. And plus everybody's got Harleys, you know?
Right.
So I took that into consideration. So then
You heard Rob say Harleys are panty droppers on some episode.
I did
You
hear
remember
that.
that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't-
Probably on
I-
more than one episode.
At this, yeah, I heard that. But now you got to remember at this point when I'm
Right.
thinking,
Oh, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even know you exist.
That's right.
And so I kind of just narrowed it down on my own, and I decided to get a Harley. And then I went down to the Harley dealer near my hometown. There's in Boswell's in Nashville.
Straight into Mike. Sorry. I got
Sorry.
to. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, he already violated once. He's
All
getting.
right.
He's getting.
All right,
off.
I'm learning.
No,
and
it's all
so I went down there and sat on an ultra limited because I was thinking cross country. If I get a bike, that's why I want it, to go see the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it, but I didn't like the price tag.
Yeah. Right.
I was like, whoa, this is expensive. So
Dang.
I kept
Skippy.
thinking about it, and I kept going to the Harley site and looking at the Road King.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I think maybe I'll narrow it down to Road King. So I'm also got to get my endorsement. So I signed up for a class, and I had to go to Appleton's in Clarksville, Tennessee. And they called me after I signed up online and said, you need to come by and pick up this material and look through it before you come.
Yeah.
And this was a couple days before Christmas of 14. I was like, okay. They said, come by on Christmas Eve. We got a big dinner and everything, you know. I was like, well, I can't come by that day. I wish I could, but my family gets together then. So I went up the day before that, and I walk in the door, and right there is my bike.
They had it.
They had it.
It's almost like they were tracking it like Google does.
I know.
Where they put the advertisement.
And
they got something going on down there in Appleton.
They had the trunk on it too, man. I was like, oh, hell, this is the bike I wanted.
Right.
I was even riding up there thinking, I wonder if they would even have a Road King, a Morocco Gold Road King. Shit, there it was. As soon as I walked in the door.
We got to figure out their marketing right there.
I know,
because that
man.
was brilliant.
It worked because I bought it before I left.
And analytics.
He did a Chewy, bought it, and then tell your wife later. You got to hear this.
Yeah. So I go and I get the training material, but then I said, well, I walked around the bike a bunch of times, and this guy gives up and says, you want to get it? And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I want to get it. But I don't know if I can. Probably shouldn't. So I went back and got the training material, but then I come back out and I'm looking at that bike again, you know. And they said, well, the person that gave me the training material, she's like, let me get you a guy to help you. He's actually going to be training. You're doing your class, your motorcycle class. And so Will's his name. So he comes out, he starts showing it to me, fires it up, says, you want to ride it? And I'm like, well, I haven't even got my endorsement yet. I can't.
He wants you to ride it.
Yeah.
He knows he's going to sell after you ride it.
Yeah. I was like, well, I'm already sold, man. He's like, okay, let me go get the sales manager. So we go back there and we crunch numbers, and I was like, wow, man. I don't know. He's like, well, let me do this. And he got it down just a little more. It wasn't a whole lot off, but I was like, all right, I'll put a 500 down. I said, I can't pick it up till March though. He says, no problem. So, come back in March and I got it.
Sweet, man.
Now, in between, I've got the bike. I'm walking out of there and I'm like, holy shit, I just bought me a Harley, a brand new Harley. So I'm like, how the hell am I going to tell my wife?
Yeah, see, you haven't even told the wife. You didn't even text her.
I went to go pick up that materials, honey, and left with a $30,000 Harley.
Yeah, don't worry about that. No big deal. It's in the garage.
Yep.
I drove the whole way home giddy as a little boy, but then I got home and I was like, well, shit, I got to tell her, I just got to tell her. And so it took me about an hour after getting home to tell her.
Oh my God.
Why are you pacing? What's wrong? Nothing. Don't worry about it.
And she just looked at me and she said, you did what? And that was it. I said, well, I bought a bike.
That's it.
That was it. She turned around and left. I mean, she didn't leave.
Did she go stay in a hotel for a couple days?
No. And then you didn't talk for how long?
Well, no, it wasn't like that. But she left the room, my office, and she walked out. My daughters were in the den. Your dad just bought a motorcycle. I was like, oh
my God.
And she was pissed.
Yeah.
My girls jumped up. He what? Dad, let me see it. My youngest one. What'd you get? Let me see a picture. Anyway. So it didn't take too long. She cooled off because she knew I had already been talking.
We've been eyeing them, right?
And she knew I was going to get one, but she didn't know it was going to be that soon. And that's how that happened.
And that's the bike you have right now.
And that's the one I have now.
Down in Tennessee, bike. It is.
It's back home in Tennessee in my garage.
We lent you one today.
Yeah. That was a great ride today.
That was. We're going to get into that for sure.
After I get the bike, well, I didn't get the bike, but after I bought the bike, but I'm not going to finish the purchase until March because I told him I got to get my endorsement and I don't want to get it before it's freezing out. And I said, I'm not going to pick it up, pay you for it until March. They were like, cool. So I start researching things that I want to add to the bike.
Before you even have it?
Before I even have it.
That's how Harley guys are, dude. And that's how you'll hear it's good story.
And it's just, it's already got some extras on it, like the trunk and a few little things. But I know I'm starting to look at pegs, foot pegs, rear seat backs.
Yeah, passenger.
I'm also looking at, the heated seats and the heated grips because, the Road King doesn't have this stuff.
Yeah, it comes pretty stripped. No windshield, no.
Yeah, it's got a windshield.
No it does. You're right.
It comes with that basic windshield.
That's right.
But it's basically the base model touring bike that they have.
Right.
So I'm looking at different things and I'm confused about some of these things. So I'm looking at backrest and I'm trying to figure out, which one of these goes, because I'm looking at the online catalog through this and I'm like, there's two different kinds or something that says it fits that bike. But I'm like, wait a minute. Now, how can two different mounts fit this bike for a backrest? So I start Google searching all over the place. There it is. Mm-hmm. Well, that's black.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all kinds of stuff out there on it, but
it's rather confusing.
It can be.
It has been.
And
one of the reasons we started this thing, but yes, go ahead.
I come across a YouTube video on how to install a seat backrest.
Say it isn't so.
Yeah. And sure enough,
there was Ryan.
I didn't know who this dude was.
That was Fat Ryan back then.
I saw all these
Fat
tattooed.
Ryan.
Yeah, you were then.
I was fat.
I'll say nothing more.
And so I'm watching this video. I'm like, holy cow, that's the whole thing. I was like, man, that just explained to me everything right there. It was so detailed from beginning to end. You took the seat off, even how to take the seat off, which, it's like common sense.
Everybody skips over that. There are people that don't.
Yeah, I'd already checked out some other stuff.
It's if I don't know if you know this now, but it's step by step without skipping any steps.
It is.
Rob loves saying that. Here we go. One for Rob. Straight up. One for Rob. Because that's what I always say. So yeah. Rob likes.
And it is literally, it is. And
I wanted that as a foundation. So yeah, go ahead.
It was just it answered my question is that, and I wasn't even looking on how to install one. I was just trying to figure out what went on my bike.
Right.
And you even explained this is for all touring models, 14 and later or whatever it was. And I'm like, well, I got a 15, so this is gonna work.
We had the information out before HD did.
Yeah.
The dealerships didn't know. My local dealership, that's how we knew that fit. So I wanted to get the word out like, hey, everybody, don't worry.
And it was just what I needed to find.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, who is this dude? I didn't know who you were.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm like, well, he's got a channel here and YouTube and you had more links down below for info. And then it went to your website. And I was like, well, let me see what else. And yeah, I even went through your YouTube video listings and I was like, holy cow, look at all this
stuff. There was a lot back then, but not nearly as much
as there is now. Yeah. But I was like, man, this is a source. So I kept that. I bookmarked your channel. I think I even subscribed right then.
Sweet.
And then I went to your homepage, your website, and I was like, man, he's even got a podcast. And I've been listening to podcasts since 2006. And
right here, straight up, guy already listened to podcast. Yeah, man.
Oh, I've been hooked on podcasts for 10 years now.
Me too.
And
you were in the early days too.
Oh, yeah.
See, I'm not going to get off track. I'll make a note of that. Go ahead.
So I subscribe. I'm like, wow, I wonder what these podcasts are like. And I listened to one. I can't remember which episode was first, but I was like, man, these guys are awesome. I love the way you guys bantered around with each other and you had a lot of useful information. And I was like, man, I subscribed right to the end of your podcast too. So
you listen on iTunes, is that where you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I use your app now.
Okay, now I use our app, but we didn't have an app.
But back then, I was using iTunes.
Right.
Well, I still use iTunes for all the others. But I was like, man, this is just... I started downloading back cataloging all your episodes, man. I think you were at... what was you at then? What are you at now? 117 or something? Oh, yeah, like
somewhere around there, yeah.
You were 70s maybe back then?
Yeah.
There was a bunch to go back to. Plus, then you had the Sons of Anarchy, some other... Yes. I listened to some of those. I didn't really get into that because I didn't watch those shows.
No, so it's definitely a niche. Yeah.
But your lab podcast, and learning about... See, now that's the other thing. A lot of guys I've talked to that were riding, they still weren't into the biker world.
Right.
I'm not trying to say the biker world, like, in a bad way, but... the world of biking.
Yeah.
And
the law-abiding biker community.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was another thing that hooked me on your podcast because you promoted that 99%.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. This is what I need. This is what I want to hear.
Sweet. Love hearing that stuff.
It hooked me up. And I've learned, I don't know, probably 1,000 times more from listening to your podcast and your videos and everything than I've picked up anywhere else.
That's great, man. And that's the first time I've heard that from Russell. We had a little bit of conversation at lunch, but one of the other interesting things that you said at lunch was, and we'll talk about our ride today, is that I said, thank you for being a patron. I really, from the bottom of my heart, anytime I get to personally face-to-face thank a patron, I thanked Ian Sturgis. But you said, hey, I'm glad to do it because you've saved me 1,000 times.
What I told you was, this is a no-brainer.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer because just doing my own oil changes, shit,
just
how much
one
that saves you. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, just one even. And I added up and also your videos on how to install and put things on myself and to do so many other things. I think my savings last year was over $1,200.
Right. Wow.
Doing my own.
That's amazing. Yeah, because if you're looking at a $3 patron times 3 per piece of content. I'm not saying I'm just saying if you were, that's 12 times 12, 144 a year. And that's more, that's still less than one oil change.
I'm doing that, top tier. So,
right. Yeah. You're top tier. Yeah.
It's well worth it to me.
Oh man. Yeah. That's
well
sweet.
Worth it.
to hear that for me validates to me that it's
what you're doing is a lot of good for a lot of guys.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and we get those emails all the time.
There's probably tons of hundreds, if not thousands, of guys that's benefited from your stuff that you don't even know exist.
No, 4 million views on the YouTube channel now.
Yeah,
and so there's a lot of people out there consuming that, and so that's why I appreciate so much the people that step up and are willing to grow the community and donate as a patron, because there's only really realistically less than 1% of people consuming the content. Realistically,
right. Yeah.
When you look at YouTube and
numbers.
download numbers, I mean, and so that's why it's always that, that 80-20 or, that are doing all the promotion, and there's a lot of people consuming and benefiting from it, and that's great. But there's those people like you that help carry it, and you too. And I tell people that you too, by being a patron, are helping me help other people. So whether you're helping people, and
that's the way to do things these days, is to give out information to help everybody.
Yes, you're helping people in Canada. You guys are as much part of the help.
It's just a natural reaction on my part to just give back.
Yeah,
to help you keep going.
That's sweet, man, and we appreciate it so very much. And so that's awesome. I love hearing how people found us, and the app. You like the app? Listen in the app. I don't I use it, but not as much as you guys out there.
It keeps it organized better for me.
It's working well
than the Apple podcast app.
Okay.
Yeah, it's working really well. I've never had any problems.
Good. And you talk about, which is an interesting point, and Rob, you can jump in anytime you want here.
You guys are doing excellent.
Rob, just like I have nothing. He's just like, whatever. The back catalog is an interesting thing, because we get that all the time from the email. Hey, I found your podcast. We love it. I've back cataloged. I've binge listened for the last, and I've done that with other podcasts.
As a truck driver, I can binge listen.
Yeah.
I did.
You get a lot of time to consume.
Oh yeah.
So that's great, man.
That and audiobooks is what I listen to.
Yes. Different. Yeah. Audiobooks. That's another great thing. Yeah. Because you got a lot of time.
Tons of it.
To stay busy. Yeah. While you're driving around.
It's very boring driving down those highways.
I bet it gets that way.
It does.
Lonely.
Yep.
Yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about you coming in town here. Now, we are in contact, and I was going to do an episode with Russell on, everybody's been asking about GoPro and or action cam and motorcycles. We are going to do an episode on that. It will be out. I'm going to do it right here with Russell. He has a lot of knowledge on that and runs a ton of different GoPros on his motorcycle. Now, we were going to do that remotely.
We were.
And then all of a sudden, Russell, because he drives cross country, said, hey, by the way, I'm going to be in town. And so, Rob, this is where you come in. And why don't you explain what's been going on, what you guys been doing, and how we got this whole thing it really was kind of last minute.
It was.
I mean, which is cool.
About a week.
That's how we roll around here.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad you mentioned it, because then I was like, oh, awesome. We got to make this happen.
Yeah, I'm glad we did.
And it's tough sometimes, because I wanted to meet you Friday or Saturday. My regular paying job, I had to pull 2 15-hour shifts back to back because of manpower and lack of coverage, and I was just beat, and I couldn't get over. And Rob, as usual, came to my rescue, and he has a space for an 18-wheeler.
Yeah,
I do not have. As you can see, I was thinking, guy, can he back it up my cul-de-sac into? I was like, I think that's sketchy, man. I don't know if it'd have fit.
We might have made it. But
you would have been fine. I just don't know depth wise, if it would have been,
I would have been blocking all that stuff you have over there. All those other vehicles. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So anyways, Rob comes to the rescue as usual. Rob, so glad to have you on board with Lab Media, dude, because Rob is the social butterfly and he makes it happen, man. So go ahead, Robbie.
I don't really care about the podcast or the videos.
He just likes meeting bikers.
I just like meeting bikers. Yeah. Greg stayed with me when he came up, and
Gaxiol, another patron.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And I just love hanging out with the guys. So when Russell needed a place to stay or park his truck, and I told him, I said, you can stay in the house or you can park your truck, whatever. Well, I didn't realize that these trucks are absolutely self-sufficient. I mean, he's got refrigerators and
see, I knew that only because of my background as a state. Yes.
Yeah. Right. He's got microwaves, all kinds of stuff. So he says, I'll stay out in the truck. I said, okay, well, we can plug it in or whatever we need to do. So, he says, well, how wide your driveway? What's the road like in front of your house? Will I be able to get an 18-wheeler back in there? I said, well, it's 2 lanes, 1 lane each direction, a turn lane. He goes, okay, that's enough room.
Oh, yeah, your main road out in front of your house,
Yeah,
right?
it's
So he
basically
could
3 lanes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
so he could make the 90-degree turn into the driveway. So he came over and backed her in and been hanging out with me ever since.
Oh, it's been great.
So
Yeah, Robbie's
I
got
appreciate
the
you
big driveway.
let me stay.
yeah, no problem.
We've
So
had
it's
a
parked
blast.
over there right now, right?
Yeah, it's sitting behind his house.
Yeah, sweet.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, his kids are probably out driving it, taking it for a spin.
Sitting on the back 40.
So yeah, it is self-sufficient. And so Robbie, now you now because I was working the paying job, 15-hour back-to-back shifts, I'm beat. You gave him a little tour of the area, didn't you?
Well,
You spent some time at some local restaurants.
I
there
am
in-
currently not working.
Yes,
Actually,
With
I
an
go-
ACL problem.
Yeah, I go back light duty here in a couple weeks. But so he came in Friday night, and my oldest son had football practice. He had a or helmet only walkthrough. They had their first game. He's 11 years old. They had their first game Saturday. And my kid lives for football, so I said, "Well, we're going to go to practice, so you can come or you can hang out here or whatever." And he said, "I'll go." So we went
That's
down.
sweet.
They had like an hour and 15-minute practice. So we visited, watched practice.
Yeah,
Went
and
back-
Wyatt talked my head off.
Oh yeah, and then my middle kid talked his head off, Wyatt. And then we came home. I barbecued chicken. We hung out till 10 or so, went to bed, and then Saturday morning we got up and we went to my oldest actual football game.
That
And
was
then-
a good game.
Was it?
Yeah, he had my kid had a really good game.
Oh yeah,
Was
Two
Russell
sacks,
out- was
two
Russell out-
sacks in a row, and
Sweet.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
kid's huge compared to most of the kids out there. And
Did he have his cameras out there doing
no,
photography for you?
I didn't bring all
You
those.
probably don't because you don't want to get stolen.
No,
That's a
no,
lot of gear.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went to the game and then went back to the house for, I don't know, an hour, 2
Yeah,
hours.
about.
And then I
couple
said, "Hey, let's go grab something to eat." So last night I took him to, well, here, I'll say this. I took him to the tap room. It's the same place Greg and I ended up having a
Greg
couple of beers.
Gaxiola,
Yep.
yeah, from California.
So we went there, had a couple of beers, and then I took him to, he sees in the beer case some ciders. And he goes, "Ciders, I don't really like those." And I said, "Well, these are different." I said, these are pretty good ciders. And he says, "Yeah, I'm not too sure." I said, "We're going to go there after this." Because it's a almost like a brewery.
Yeah,
They're
ciders,
kind of
right.
like a beer. It's not like the ciders you'd think that are really sweet.
Right.
yeah. I was like, if I don't want no apple juice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I took him out there. And what kind did you get? Did you get apple?
We don't drink
No,
that
it was
foo-foo
a
cider in
hoppy
Tennessee.
cider.
Oh yeah.
They called it a hoppy cider.
Yeah, he got a hoppy cider. I got a cherry cider, and then another friend was with us, and
He got a cranberry.
he got cranberry, and it wasn't overly cranberry. It was actually
No,
pretty
it was
good.
really good.
And they were having a release party for a pumpkin. None of us cared for that much.
No, we didn't.
A
like
pumpkin
that.
flavor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then there's a brewery by my house that's got really hoppy beers. He says he likes hoppy beers. I said we gotta get there. So they closed at 9. We got there about 8:45.
Last call was already.
Yep. But they said they'd give him one, so he got to have a beer there, and he really liked their beer.
That was good.
And so
Real
then
good.
we headed home, and then this morning I gave him a ride over here to go ride with you guys.
Yes, because we were going on a day ride and poor Robbie cannot go. And I
Could not
honestly
go.
do feel bad for you because I know how that is.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
I came home, and then I came back over here when you guys got back.
Sweet. Let's talk about the day ride. You know what
Oh.
we should do real quick? Now, of course, Russell, we love our patrons. We love our patrons, and we'd love to get you involved as a patron because there are benefits and get you in that group. But we never balk at a flat donation. That's right, because if that's the only way you can support us, we totally get it, and we don't want to minimize that at all, and we're so thankful for it. lawabidingbiker.com/donate if you want to give just a flat donation. Do you want to thank these folks right here, Russell,
Oh,
for
yeah.
flat donations?
Well, that first guy I know,
Yep.
John Stevens of Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Now, he gave a substantial donation, I'll tell you, and he is also a patron. And how many times have you heard that? These guys are patrons.
Yeah.
They're already giving per piece of content. And I'm absolutely blown away when I see it come in and I know it's a patron. I'm like, I feel guilty because I'm like, you're donating and you're a patron, but that's the kind of guy he is.
John also bought.
You rode with him.
Yeah, I rode with him and met him in Sturgis.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
rode with him in when he got back home. I rode up Milwaukee and hung out with him, and he bought us lunch at the Harley Museum.
Guy is top notch.
Great
Oh, yeah.
guy, man.
Yeah, we
you met
banter
him
back.
down there.
Oh yeah, and we banter back and forth on Facebook all the time.
He likes that. Yeah. All right. Awesome, John Stevens.
We also have Barrett Hensley of Odessa, Texas. I went through there 2-3 weeks ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, Not much around out
Not
there.
just kind of desolate, huh?
Yeah.
Great
it's out
place
there.
to throttle down.
A lot of oil fields.
Yeah.
Wide open.
Sweet. We really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Again, lawabidingbiker.com/donate if that's the way you want to support us. We really, really do appreciate it. So, yeah. So anyways, we, of course, Russell was coming in town. He's staying at LD's house. And this is the biker community. One of the foundations of what I, not just me, but we all built it on is I really saw that there wasn't anything else out there like that. And the ability to have hookups, kind of around the country, the law-abiding biker hookups, and just to meet with bikers and be able to do this kind of thing where they can come to our area. And again, you never know where we'll be next. We announced it now. We'll be in Canada next year, but we'll be in other places too. We just went to Oregon last weekend for a weekend ride, but, just that community and being able to be free to hook up and ride and have that camaraderie with people. Yeah. And we're all doing the same. We have the same passion.
Have the same passion.
Yes.
We want to get out and ride.
There doesn't need to be walls. No. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to break. There doesn't need to be walls. We all want to do. We all love the same things. And so that's the best thing. There's just so many bikers out there I haven't met that I look forward to meeting. So Russell came in town. And he's, like Rob said, he dropped him off today. I had a ride planned for him. Now, we didn't plan a long ride. Number one, the bike that he borrowed, I'm not going to get into that too much other than we're transitioning. We're always trying to do new videos for you guys. So we are moving bikes in and out. And we moved the night train out. We just did a bar project. We're done with it. We moved a Dyna Lowrider S, which is a CVO model, 2016 in. Because we're going to do some videos and projects. I don't know how long we'll have that bike around, but it's here for now. And it's a screamer of a bike.
Oh, man.
And Russell came at the right time because we just moved that into the garage to do some projects on it last week. 2016 Dyna Lowrider S Black. It's got a 110 CVO. We've already piped it. Of course, those videos are in edit. We piped it. We put forward controls on it. That's a for purchase video. You can go over to the website, lawabidingbiker.com. You can search for Dyna forward controls. It'll work for pretty much any Dyna model. So we got a lot more videos now to do on it. So that is the bike that he got to borrow. We hooked him up for now. And why don't you talk about the other thing I wanted to say is we did a short day ride because although the Dyna is a great bike, you wouldn't want to, it's not really the 7-hour ride type of bike.
No, it's not.
And it's not a touring bike. And also we had to be back to spit these podcasts. So Robbie dropped him off. And why don't you talk about your perspective of the day ride? What do you got to say about that?
It was awesome. We went up through a canyon.
Yakima River Canyon, State Route 821.
For a lot of miles. Man, that was gorgeous.
Out my back door, Russell.
It is.
And I mentioned to you that oftentimes I work so long hours on days off in here and I do get burnout. I'm not going to lie to you, editing videos sometimes.
That's a great place to go clear your head, isn't it?
I do. I run up it. You see the dam where all the water's backed up, where all the recreation boats are. That's where I ride to and I smoke a cigar there sometimes, a little backwoods and clear my head. And I throttle down back to the studio here. So you got to see where my little timeout is.
Little getaway.
That's my timeout.
Yeah,
yep. Go ahead.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it is a cool ride up through there. And then after we got through the top of that, which is it's a good.
You follow the river the whole way.
All the way.
Windy.
It's like 20, 25 miles or something, isn't it?
Very close. Yes.
It's just gorgeous all the way through there. And then we took some other roads and we ended up in what is that town?
Roslyn, Washington.
Roslyn, Washington. Man, that is a great place to go have a beer and a burger.
I wish we had more time to drive you through a little part of Roslyn. And Cleellum is that little city that we hit before Roslyn. It kind of got populated. That was Cleellum.
Okay.
And then
I remember seeing that. I remember that was the name of the town.
Yes.
And just gorgeous scenery all the way. This area is so different than Tennessee or the Southeast because it's just so wide open.
Yes.
And the vistas and the views you can see from anywhere. I mean, you don't have, canopies of trees up and down each side of the road. And it's just like every second you're just like, wow, man, this is just, look at that mountain range over there.
See, the different things you experience that I'm so blessed and used to it.
And the weather was great.
Oh,
beautiful day.
Yes, it was. Even when we left at 10 this morning, it was 78.
It was the right temp and the humidity's so low here. But it was just a
You're right. The
fabulous
mountain
ride.
ranges you got. Yeah. You know, the things I try not to take for granted. I try to breathe them in between filming. I try to breathe the views in, but you're right. It is a gorgeous, the Northwest here.
And just riding with you guys, it was just cool to see the way you guys rode.
Yes.
Now that was awesome.
Was it? Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, I've not done too many group rides.
Okay.
I mean, hardly any. A couple is all. And but I've seen a lot of group rides, and you know, they're all staggered or they're all over the place. Man, you guys are just riding side by side, and it was just cool to see that.
That's great.
Just the way you guys, and you know, and the way you were feeling Cuz up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. You're
was
right.
Like, damn, what's he doing to him?
Bag to bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then,
I always like that perspective.
And then,
yeah.
you know, and I was like, I told you, you know, it's like, well, you know, just give me some room because, you know, I'm not that great of a rider. And
you did well. You did well.
Well, I appreciate it. And then, you know, we ate dinner up there, and that was a great time sitting around talking with you guys. We had a table where we just all were, you know, just all the way around this table. And it was just the conversation. We could have gone on for hours. It was a great, just long conversation we was having there, you know, but you know, Justin had to get back. And so, you know, we eventually had to leave before, you know, we were ready really. And then the ride back, you know, and I don't know what you were doing where we stopped.
Yeah.
But, you know, we had to sit there and wait on you for a little bit. I figured you was having a issue with the GoPro or something.
I was.
And so,
see what these guys put up with me?
yeah, I was thinking that too.
They're great
But
guys.
they weren't complaining. They were just like, okay, let's just wait on them. And,
they know. Yep.
and then we had a couple other roads coming back, different roads than we took up there. That was kind of bumpy, that one.
Highway 10 out the backside of Roslyn,
on
Washington.
that bike, it was a little, I was like, if I was on my Road King, it'd probably ride better.
Those shocks are good, but I have them adjusted for me. They should have been a little softer, but it's not going to be like a
'cause I'm
touring.
a little heavier than you.
Right.
But no, it was a great ride still. And then Justin had to split off, and you know, you guys were
Oscar,
all fist
yeah.
bumping. Anyway, he motioned me to come up. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm not used to riding next to anybody.
See, that's good to know. I should have talked about that honestly, but yeah, what happened
So
there?
yeah, you motioned me up, and you know, and of course I fucked it up because I tried to put the cruise on to, you know, stay beside him to do it, you know, but then as soon as I let off the throttle to do it, my bike slid back.
Russ is trying to fist bump the air.
Yeah,
I missed.
And Justin even tried to adjust too, you know. And anyway, and then I got it throttled back up there, but you know, and then he tried to, you know, tell me, you know, over the air and everything, you know, it's like I got to take another route. And I'm like, yeah, I know, dude. You told me earlier. Anyway, so then I took off. You know, that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And you know,
Because I don't know
Justin's such a good dude.
Oscar
And,
is, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yes,
and then
Justin, yeah.
And then coming back down the canyon the other way, it was like a totally new ride.
Yeah.
That was just so cool.
Later in the day, all the floaters.
Yeah.
There's a lot they love floating that. That's a huge
there was a bunch
recreation.
of them that would wave, you know. We'd all wave back.
Yeah. Sometimes you get
Sometimes you get flashers.
Oh yeah, straight up.
I didn't notice
Boobies.
because I was trying to notice, but I didn't.
You almost hit the guardrail when that one.
Yeah, that's true. There was one that looked good down there. She wasn't flashing, but she looked awesome. No, man, I didn't.
That's awesome. No, and that's great to hear from your perspective. I love these conversations. Because I mean, we ride in that environment, in that group all the time, and then to hear an outside perspective. And honestly, today I felt like the group was pretty sloppy, which is fine. I felt like we ride way better.
It might have been because of me.
It was
and,
not.
And John's friend was
It's
with us.
better when I'm in the group.
It's absolute train wreck when Rob's in the group. Absolute train wreck.
He's up there twitching and everything.
Oh God! Don't let him lead because you'll never go the same speed. Set your freaking cruise control and take your hand off the throttle. Yeah.
Oh man,
love Robbie, but you know, no, but it was still tight. But we oftentimes ride a lot tighter. And then you know, just getting used to. What did you think about? So a lot of guys aren't used to it. This group is pretty used to it. I probably should have briefed before, but I didn't. But you guys handled it well because a lot of guys aren't used to. I've spent, you know, the past, well, since we started Law Abiding Biker Media, and even before that, I was doing Sworn Few videos. I have a lot of techniques that I've used and rules that I have to follow as a videographer because it's not. Motorcycle rides are not the easiest thing to film,
to choreograph.
yes. And to get the shots that I need. And that's a lot of it's dependent on environment and riders and roadways. And I've come up, there's no books for that.
Nope.
And we'll talk about this I probably shouldn't get this deep into it. We'll talk about it in the GoPro podcast, but just for this purpose, to have me, everything I'm doing is to try to get in positions, and I'm cutting the group and I'm weaving in and out.
I observed you doing all that. Yeah.
Trying to, and now everybody's used to it. Now you haven't, and so a lot of times I brief guys and I'm like, and I should have probably did that. It was just such a busy morning, and say, hey, the best thing you can do is do nothing. The best thing you can do is keep your throttle and keep your speed and pay attention to the road and let me
I was trying to do that.
Yeah, and
every once in a while I was like, oh, he's on my back, right quarter.
Yes.
I was like, okay, I know what you're doing.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'll just keep cruising along here. Yeah.
And you have a video and photography background, so I knew you'd probably be okay. But yeah, it was good. It was good. And glad to hear your perspective on how we ride, because I don't, we're so used to it.
Oh, I was impressed.
We don't even think about it.
You said it was sloppy, but I was impressed,
Okay.
Now we had some places where we didn't have the lines, where they had that new paving, and it was like, it looked narrower. And I think we even talked about this at lunch, but yet it was a, bigger, wider shoulder, but that was like rough asphalt. It hadn't been the final layer put on it. I don't know if you noticed that. It just looked like there was a dip.
Oh, you're right. There was,
where it was nice and rolled asphalt, and then, but there was no white line. So it looked like we had a smaller section to ride on, from the dotted center line to the outside where it was still smooth. It was just shorter or, narrower.
Right.
Is what it seemed like. So it seemed like you guys weren't doing as much side by side through all that. But overall, I mean,
yes,
you guys you impressed the hell out of me.
That's very cool. Very cool to hear. Yeah. And speaking of playing with because I do that all the time. Do not try that at home. But yeah, I got up next to him and I was grabbing his bicep, trying to feel for his muscle. And of course that will be on the vlog. Now I vlogged today. I had multiple cameras going, and Russell got to see those what I was doing. Now
when you come up beside me and you're looking at me, I was thinking, what the hell is he saying? Because I know you're talking into that mic.
Sometimes. And sometimes not. Sometimes I'm just getting footage, but yes, sometimes I was talking. Yeah. And sometimes I'm talking and then I don't put that in the final video. I just, I take the voice out. Right. Yeah. But, and then this, a few different video items. I was pretty, bare minimums today just to get some shots, but that vlog will come out. That is one I definitely, I think I need, I have so much footage, but I think that one I need to get out. I think it was really cool. And you'll see the Brick we went to. It's called the Brick in Roslyn, Washington. Robbie's been there a lot.
Awesome place.
Yeah, it's a cool place. And
that's like from the oldest bar or something in the,
I think
there's that claim in there.
There is that claim, and I can't remember if that's other
18 something.
There's only one other bar that tries to claim it too, and I can't remember where that is, but down in Goldendale somewhere, Robbie?
No, Bickleton.
Bickleton, right outside of Goldendale. What's it called?
The Bluebird in Bickleton.
That's right, the Bluebird. And I'm not sure which one. They kind of both say they're the oldest.
Yeah, and there's one, I think, on the west side up by Anacortes that says the same thing, so who knows?
West side of Washington State, right. Okay. What else about the ride? Anything, Russell? I'm glad you had a good time and it was beautiful weather.
It was a great time. And that bike scoots.
Yeah, the Dyna Lowrider S.
I never opened it up. I was too afraid.
It's a 110.
On a light little thing.
On a light little Dyna Lowrider S frame. It's only 634 pounds is what it's rated at. Yeah. And it's got a 110 sitting right under your legs.
Talk about nimble.
Rob is so ready to ride that.
I'm foaming at the mouth.
It's like the Harley crotch rocket, man. It's just, whoa. I don't think I ever opened it up past half on the throttle. Yeah, I was hanging on.
With those touring bikes, you can quarter throttle it and they can be flooring it, and you'll just be right with them. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
It was amazing how quick I caught up every time. Whenever you'd hear them throttle up, but it's like your reaction's slower, but then it's like, whoa, I don't need to get up there that quick.
Yeah,
that bike it's a rocket.
It is, and it's got the pipes. It's piped out. It's tuned out.
It sounded good.
Yeah, it's got the short shots. Staggered. Vance
they're
and
cool
Hines.
looking too, but man, they sound awesome.
Video coming out on that on comparison on the stock exhaust we took out. Again, just lawabidingbiker.com, hit the search bar in the upper right-hand corner, search for that, search for Dyna. We're doing more. We're trying to get, we talked about that a little bit at lunch. We're trying to get, we had the night train in here, the soft tail. We're trying to get different because we did a lot of touring starting, but I want to get other bikes. We've had the Road King in and stuff like that, but maybe the non-touring, I should say, a few more projects and bikes, and we're just going to keep evolving.
That'll help guys.
Yeah, it will. And that's what it's about. Yeah, exactly. Because we've had a lot of requests for that stuff. So
you do need to change the bars on it though.
I am. And that's one video coming up. I am going to put, I talked a little bit about it at lunch, but it's very difficult because it's not even in the catalogs yet for that 2016 Dyna Lowrider S CVO. And even the kit companies, they don't even want to deal with it, even though it's a lot of Dyna stuff. Anyways, it's complicated, but we're going to, it's not complicated once I figure it out and figure out what we need. Just nobody wants to help you because everybody's like, we don't have a kit for that yet. Oh, it's not in our catalog. Oh, we don't even show that
so they
bike.
Just want to pass you on.
They want to pass you on. Yeah. And so we're going to have to custom do it. We'll have to order our own cables and maybe even get a company to make the cables. The thing is, it doesn't have any different cables. It's just a Harley. It's just they don't have a kit for it. So we're going to have to figure out, okay, this will work because it's a Dyna. It works for a lowrider. It'll work for a lowrider S. It will, I'm doing the research. We're going to put bars on it. We're going to do tracker bars. We're going to put, it's already got 5-inch risers. We're going to do 10-inch risers, which are going to bring the bars. It's going to be total SOA bike.
That would be much better.
The stunt riders, you see, with doing wheelies, standing up, they're riding those Dyna lowriders and they're putting those tracker bars and those big straight risers with the tracker bars. That's what we're going to do to it.
That would help.
It
would have been more comfortable.
See, even for you, interesting, because I feel like it's a little too far forward to reach for the bars.
It's too far forward.
And because those risers come back at an angle, if I add 5 inches,
it would
plus the tracker bars will do 3.
That would make a huge difference.
It will. So you too. Yeah, you're about the same height.
I hope I don't wake up with a crick in my neck because, it was too far forward.
I agree. Okay, it's not just me. We're about the same height. So, and that's what I felt. And it'll look badass, number one. Number two, coming back at an angle, 5 inches plus 3 on the tracker bars will bring, because it's coming back at an angle, it's going to set it back in the rider more.
It would have been more comfortable ride.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully, if you get back up, you'll get to ride it with those bars on.
That would be awesome.
Look forward to those videos among others, guys. Let me look at my notes here to make sure. So let's talk real quick and we'll wind it down. The wife should be home with pizza for us really soon. We're going to eat and then we're going to do a GoPro podcast all about action cams, actually, GoPro and others. We're going to talk about a list of kind of some others. And so look forward to that episode, guys. But photography, I'm just going to publicly say, I've seen some of his photography work and it's awesome. Plus he's a biker.
Well, thanks.
And I tell you, I know there's photographers around here and I'm sure they're great. I need a lab photographer, but I need him to be around here and I want him to be a biker, right?
Yeah.
Because it makes
a difference.
It does. And just like, it's like hiring a videographer and a biker videographer, they're going to understand
that's the
what
key.
Needs to be caught. And you can grab any videographer and it's hard to relate that creativity to them about what they need to get and what they should be getting. So anyways, it would be awesome to have you around here because I would hire you immediately as the lab photographer because I know we could get some badass photos, man. We need to do some photos. Anyways, talk a little bit about your photography. You do that on the side, right?
Yeah, it's on the side.
But it's your passion.
It is. And I got into it back in the early 90s when my first was born in 92. So it was probably around 94. I really got into it heavy. Now this is film days.
Yeah.
Well, you got to buy film. You got to process film, transparencies. That's not cheap. You can always do, color film, but I always like the transparencies. And then, so I was into it serious then and it cost, a fortune. But when digital came around, now it was always a hobby and it was mainly for my kids and a lot of the stuff they did. And I worked hard at it, capturing that emotion. And that's the key. And then
you got it in your, yep.
And then, when I got digital, I've got my first SLR digital camera. It was a Canon Rebel.
Yeah.
And that was in.
We're going to talk more too.
05.
I want to dig in deeper in the GoPro podcast about this. Yes.
Okay.
The Rebel. Yes. It's
and,
good.
And I got that and I was in heaven.
The Rebel, Robert.
Yeah. And I think Robbie's got one of those too.
The Canon Rebel.
Mine's an Andre Agassi.
You
era.
actually have a Canon Rebel?
Yeah.
You don't even know what that is.
No, I do.
Okay,
I told him about it the other day.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you did.
old. I mean, I bought it 10
years ago.
Yeah.
About like the time I bought mine. It was an XT. So,
Yeah.
if you bought it in that time frame, it was probably an XT or XTI. So, the cameras have advanced
Oh
a
my
ton
God.
since then. But here's what happened. Now I'm still doing a lot of I'm doing landscape stuff. I'm doing my kids as they're still growing.
Yeah.
But as they got involved in other things, I'm starting to do that. So there's some sports, there's softball. A couple of the girls did softball. So I was doing that. And then other parents were wanting pictures.
Yeah.
And it expanded
They start
more.
seeing it. Yes.
Expanded more. And then my kids got into band. So then now I'm doing band competitions. And now I'm doing high school football. And it just
That's
kept
sweet.
growing. And then, so I like doing the event stuff.
Yeah, right.
And then I never got into doing weddings. I did 3 weddings, and I said, "Fuck that! I'm never doing that shit again." But then, talk about a headache and stress.
Yeah.
And you want to punch sometimes, especially the mother. But anyway, so I was like, I don't want this, but this other stuff, events and activities and sports and competitions and things like that. Man, that just turned me on because and with the right lenses,
Yeah.
you can capture that emotion still.
Right.
That's
the creative part.
You know what most parents are doing with their iPhones or, nowadays, but back when my oldest was in marching band, most people, I don't even remember what year the first iPhone came out, but people were buying those point and shoots.
Yeah.
They're crap.
Right.
But when I started getting these photos of these their kids, this was before Facebook. Well, right about that time, I guess when I first got on Facebook was in 2009. So it still wasn't catching on, but I was getting my kids. And then when I got on Facebook and started posting them up on Facebook and stuff and taking the other kids, pictures of the other kids, close-ups. And you can just see the emotion in that kid with that French horn.
Yeah.
Or not a French horn, but the mellophone when they're marching competitions. Or with the trumpet. Or whatever they're playing, the flute. And the color guard girls. And, it's just amazing what you can capture. And then and if you can get the face in that photo, you can just see the determination or the exertion that's going on at that instant.
Yeah.
And then football. Now, high school footballs are always night games.
Yeah.
That's trouble.
That's a challenge.
Oh, the lighting.
Yeah.
And especially back then. Now, I've got cameras that do great now.
Right.
But back then, I was still getting some great shots. I mean, when you can get a high school kid in the air catching that ball, the ball's not even in his hand yet.
Yeah.
The paper wants it.
Yeah. Right.
And the parents want it too. Everybody wants it. And I mean, it was just, everything just rolled into more. And then one of the guys that I've known him for a little while, but he's doing our high school's radio, announcing the radio on the, they probably do it here too.
Right.
Broadcast the high school football games. Well, he got to seeing that I was doing all this stuff, and he's also a sports writer, and he covers the Titans, Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me, because he saw all this stuff that I do, and he's like, "Can you be our photographer?" Because he writes for Scout. And another one of the guys with him writes for 24/7 Sports. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
You want me to do Titans games? NFL, man. This is
That's
NFL.
sweet. Yeah. I saw your photos are awesome.
I was like, hell yeah. I'll be there. I mean, there was no,
no, that's an opportunity.
Trying to figure this out. Hell yeah, I'm going to be
I'll
there.
make that work. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, now this is like the night before he's asking me, because whoever had been doing them for him fell out. So I'm like, that first game that I did a few years back, I took some photos, but most of the time I was like, I can't fucking believe I'm here.
That's awesome.
this is NFL. And I was just blown away at being there. Now, since then, I've done a lot better, but
Right.
I mean, that first game, I got them some good shots, but I didn't get them everything they wanted. Well, I never get them everything they wanted.
It's tough.
But they do give me things they wanted me to try and get.
Right.
Players and certain players, they'll give me a list. And then, I've been doing that.
And you're still rolling with that.
Yeah.
And video too, because you know a lot about.
Oh, I love making the videos.
Video too.
And the video aspect, I jumped into that because of our high school band.
Right.
And I started, picking up GoPros and started doing that. And of course, I've already have these things. And when I got my bike, I just started adapting to that. And
which is why we're going to do the GoPro
started creating
podcast.
some videos out of that. And
yes.
Yeah.
Sweet. Some great stuff, guys. And if you on Facebook, you can, or if you're in the private Facebook group, if you want to see his public page, you post a lot of those pictures, and it's great stuff. And exactly why we have them here for the GoPro podcast coming up. But let me make sure we got nothing else. Why don't we'll finish it out here real quick. You got to come here. You got to see the Law Abiding Biker Garage, where we do all our videos.
Oh yeah,
the Law Abiding Biker Studio. I always like to ask, because I asked other patron, Greg Gaxiola, that was in here, because I know you see it live, and, sometimes we do the live episodes, but what's the feeling when you come in here? Like, was it totally different, or pretty much what you thought? It was,
well, I don't want to, pump it up too much, but I mean, it was still awe.
He's basically, what he just said is, it's a ghetto.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to line up patrons because it's so awesome.
Right? Yeah, he doesn't.
It was. Well, seeing your garage, I was like, wow, it's smaller than I thought it would be.
Yeah. See, that's what I want to hear. It's a regular garage. People don't realize that. It is. I want to build a shop someday, but I don't got the money.
The lift was there, and I was like, damn, I want one of those.
Yeah.
I was like, but this is where it's all done.
Yep.
I mean, I was standing out there outside of the garage. I was like, well, here's where that first video I saw was made.
Yep. With an old video gear, I didn't even know what I was doing.
Yeah, but I mean, you got the angles, you got the information that I needed to see in that video. And then of course, coming up here before we started, I was like, I've seen you do product videos over in that other corner.
Yes.
And of course, I've seen you guys live feed whenever you have that camera sitting over there on that tripod. I'm thinking
right over there. That's the one.
Oh, that one there.
The live
up there.
cam. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And so I was like, but still, it was like, hell, this is the place.
That's sweet.
Yeah. And I was like, this is so cool to be here.
That's awesome. And it's very cool, just as cool for us to have you here. So awesome, man. Robbie, you have anything follow up? Otherwise, we're going to get out of here and go eat some pizza and then pump out our next podcast.
I'm just happy to be here.
Dude, that's the least I've heard you talk, dude.
Because this is about him.
Well, I know. I just thought maybe you'd have some questions for him.
Wait till the next one. I don't know anything about the topic.
Right.
It's going to get him even worse.
That's what's great, though, because you're going to ask all the questions.
You got all the questions, yeah.
You got all the questions that people want to know.
He's already been asking a ton.
He has. No, I just thought you had a few more questions for Russell, but whatever, dude.
I've been talking to him for 2.5 days.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we have been.
Should have been recording that.
I got to say publicly that that's awesome that you just, reached out to me and said, man, I think I can get you in my driveway. And I was like, oh, wow, hell, this will be great.
Yeah.
So really, awesome. Man, I really do appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for listening. When you heading back, Russell, when you got to take off?
I got to finish these drops tomorrow over here in near the Seattle area.
One of those in my driveway, right?
Yeah,
he's got some great cargo.
Nice, man.
Won't make it that far.
It won't get out of Rob's place, but I'll finish up there tomorrow, and then I don't know where I'm going from there yet. I don't have a load booked.
Okay, we'll figure something out, huh?
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
That's right, guys. Appreciate you listening. Call to action, guys. And Russell's very familiar with us. He not only supports us as a patron, but he uses our affiliate links. LawAbidingBiker.com/banners, BANNERS. We have a whole bunch of affiliate banners there. One of the ones that Russell uses. We have a lot of motorcycle ones, but we also have B&H photo video. And if you want to get anything electronic gear, computers and cameras and video, GoPros, anything like that, lawabidingbiker.com/B, the word and, H, will take you right there. Or just go to lawabidingbiker.com/banners, and the banners are all over there. Once you click through, and if you are, or you do purchase something, that's right, no additional cost to you. We do get a small kickback. It is a way to support us. That's what I always say. Bookmark it, guys. Just lawabidingbiker.com/Amazon or /B&H and just bookmark it as Help Lab. We name it whatever you want. But every time you click through, like I say, it does help us, guys.
It's in my browser.
That. It is, and he buys a lot of stuff from B&H, and like I say, no additional cost to him, but it funnels back into Lab Media, and it's very much appreciated. Why don't you give him the hotline phone number real quick?
It's 509-731-3548.
That's right, guys. We'll try to get it in a podcast episode if it's content worthy, and we appreciate it so much, guys. Thanks for listening. Keep the rubber side down.
The sunny side up.
Shiny side.
Shiny.
Yeah. Way to take it out. Love it. Good episode, guys.